I don't usually say this to a guest, but if people are watching this right now, it's because they found us online on YouTube. It's not the first time you've caused some drama. FCC opening probe into The View after appearance by Talarico. Do you mean to cause trouble?
I think that Donald Trump is worried that we're about to flip Texas.
You know, I almost feel bad for Steve Colbert. For starters, it has gotta be depressing to wake up every morning and look in the mirror and realize that you have aged into a librarian. It's gotta be depressing to realize that your image and likeness are only being used to recruit new members into the dork army. But I also feel bad for Steve because a once illustrious career has turned into a flaming ass fire. A once promising career is ending in huge embarrassing failure. And it's all because Steve became besties with the incredibly contagious Jim Kimmel, and he caught a severe case of stage 4 OMB. Andre bad! It has got to be depressing to wake up every morning and know that you have to lie for a living. You wake up every morning knowing you're going to be publicly humiliated as you're busted with the brush in your hand as you're attempting to covertly polish the turd. This week, Steve Colbert has once again started a civil war with CBS, also known as his temporary bosses. Here in about 3 months, Stevie won't have to worry about answering to CBS anymore because Lieutenant Dork is going to be fired. For reasons unknown, CBS continues to pay Stephen Colbert $15 million a year. If they were paying Stevie $15 a year, that would be a vast overpayment. No one forced Stephen Colbert to accept this generous donation of woke welfare. When it was announced last summer that CBS was filing for divorce, when it was announced that CBS no longer wanted to employ the future #1 host on Lonely Man's, Stevie could have walked away. Hell, that's what I would have done. I don't know about you guys. But when someone politely asks me to leave, I leave. Uncle Casey doesn't want to be somewhere that he's not wanted. But with Stevie being incredibly lonely and greedy, with Stevie having no life outside of hosting this late night dump, he decided to prolong his misery by continuing to pollute the airwaves with toxic mouth farts until the divorce is finalized in May. Stephen Colbert made a choice, and along with that choice comes rules. Rules that are set by CBS, who continues to give Stevie millions of dollars while his late night dump loses them $40 million every year. One of the main reasons I quit my old job to pursue YouTube full time, I was tired of someone else telling me what to do. Uncle Casey does not like we. I love me some me, but I don't like we. I'm not a team player. I don't like rules. I don't like someone else controlling my time. I don't like your schedule. I don't like your structure. I like my schedule, my structure. One of the many benefits of not working in corporate media, I can talk about whatever the hell I want to talk about. Now, sure, I have to abide by YouTube's guidelines, but ever since Elon Musk bought Twitter, and especially since Don Trump replaced our former fearless leader Johnny B. Biden, YouTube has pretty much left me alone. I used to constantly deal with demonetization. I used to have 1, maybe 2 videos every week demonetized. In the last couple of years, out of the thousands of videos that I've uploaded, 3 have been demonetized. It's the main reason I don't want to work in corporate media. Plus, I keep all the money to myself. Unfortunately, Stephen Colbert doesn't seem to understand this concept. Stevie doesn't seem to understand that he is not the boss. He doesn't seem to understand that he is on someone else's platform. Earlier this week, Steve wanted to interview Jim Tuco. But my name is James Talarico!
It doesn't matter what your name is!
I would imagine that most of you guys have never heard of John Rico before. He is some doofus politician running for a Senate seat in Texas. Like most doofus Democrats, he is sharing dreams that have no basis in reality. I'm gonna flip Texas from red to blue! Under my leadership, Texas will acknowledge that men go through menopause. You're probably asking the same question that I asked when Stevie announced this exciting interview on Monday. Why in the hell is a late-night comedy show interviewing some unknown Senate candidate from Texas? If he was interviewing the landman, if he was interviewing Bob Billy Thornton, I would understand it. Due to his incredibly successful show on Paramount Plus, Bill Bobby Thornton, he's become the face of the state of Texas. Anyway, Stevie conducts his interview with the representative for Dorks in Texas. But there was just one problem, one tiny problem. His bosses at CBS refuse to air it. His bosses at CBS make the decision that this interview with James Talarico is no bueno. Why? Because their lawyers are worried that Stevie is violating FCC guidelines. You see, if you're going to be a political show on broadcast television, network television, but Uncle KC, Stephen Colbert doesn't host a political show, he hosts a late-night comedy show. Yeah, if Stephen Colbert is a late-night comedian, Whoopi Goldberg is a professional flutist. Just because Whoopi plays the boodle flute and mesmerizes the orchestra with the rumbling sounds of released ass gas, that does not mean she is producing the sounds of music. And just because Stevie disguises himself as a late-night comedian, it doesn't change the fact that he is the lead deacon at Woke United Methodist. This is a political show, not a late-night comedy show. And if you're gonna be a political show on broadcast television, you are going to follow FCC guidelines. It's that simple. Of course, Stevie, he lashed out at his bosses at CBS and then proceeded to humiliate himself. Watch it for yourself.
Said my piece last night, we made some jokes, it's what they pay me for, and I was ready to let the whole thing go. Without ever talking to me, the corporation put out this press release, this statement. The Late Show was not prohibited by CBS from broadcasting the interview with Representative James Talarico. The show was provided legal guidance that the broadcast could trigger the FCC equal time rule for two other candidates, including Representative Jasmine Crockett, and presented options for how the equal time for other candidates could be fulfilled. Now, clearly, this statement was written by, and I'm guessing, 4 lawyers.
Oh, Stevie, you make jokes. I didn't know that's what they paid you for. Okay, let's just review here. Monday night, Stevie Colbert is blaming Don Trump for burying his interview with James Talarico. 24 hours later, after Stevie is busted in his blatant lie, he's blaming CBS for burying the interview because he refuses to give equal airtime to James Talarico's opponent, who just so happens to be Jas Crockett. Remember how I told you guys the other day that Jas Crockett was now an outcast in the party of the donkey? Have you noticed Jas is no longer allowed to pollute the airwaves? A couple of weeks ago, I actually submitted a missing persons report on Jas Crockett. Uncle Casey was worried. I hadn't seen the beauty of Jas in weeks. Where in the hell did she go? I'm used to seeing the radiance of Jazz on my TV at minimum 3 nights a week, but all of a sudden, it seems like doofus Democrats have told Jazz to get off my TV. For Stephen Colbert, there was a simple solution to his problem with James Talarico. If you want to air the interview with Jamie, schedule an interview with Jazz. It's that simple. Problem solved. But instead of solving his own problem, Stephen Colbert wanted to blame the Orange Man. Then he wanted to blame the FCC. Then he wanted to blame his primary subsidizers at CBS when all he had to do was invite Jasmine Crockett on the show. Do you see how many lies we had to get through just to get to the truth? Unfortunately for Stevie, Jasmine Crockett wasn't willing to play along with his lies. Somehow, by some miracle, Jasmine Crockett was suddenly healed from her allergen to the truth. Yesterday, we finally found Jazz. She organized a press conference and she busted through all the lies that Stephen Colbert has been telling. Watch it for yourself.
The federal government did not shut down this segment. It's our understanding that Colbert, either Mr. Colbert or CBS, decided that they would schedule an hearing. And this was because of a fear that the FCC may say something to them. There may have been advice to just have me on, and then they could clear the issue. That someone somewhere decided we just don't want to do that.
Now, don't be fooled into thinking that Jasmine Crockett is suddenly honest. The only reason she is telling the truth is because Jazz is coming to the harsh realization that she is no longer wanted by her own party. Jazz has officially been kicked off the donkey. The question is, why would Stephen Colbert do this? Why would he intentionally lie, knowing he would get caught? Why would he fabricate a story of mythical oppression? Why would he pretend that he was being treated unfairly? Besides the fact that Stevie relishes being viewed as the ultimate victim, why would he do this, knowing he would get busted? Well, for starters, Stephen Colbert knows that the lonely men who watch his show, they're going to believe him. They'll believe that Stevie is the victim. They'll believe he's being treated unfairly. They'll believe those evil bastards at CBS are acting like ferocious cats and burying the turd. But maybe, just maybe, Stephen Colbert took advantage of this opportunity to intentionally create controversy. Maybe he sees the opportunity to bring attention to himself. Think about it. Before this week, when is the last time you heard anything about Stephen Colbert? I haven't heard about Stevie in months. Here in about 90 days, Stevie is going to be fired. He's going to lose his platform. I would imagine that he's probably going to launch a show independently. He's not going to retire. Stevie is far too addicted to attention to retire. But in order for that independent show to be successful, he needs publicity, which is exactly what Stevie has generated this week for the first time in months. I think this is only the beginning. Over the next 3 months, I think we're going to see Stephen Colbert organize the troops in the woke army and go to war with CBS. His loyal comrades, they will believe they're fighting the good fight. We are fighting for free speech. Yeah. What they're really fighting for is Stevie's unquenchable desire for attention, a desire that will go unfulfilled as soon as he loses his platform at CBS. Sound off in the comments below. I'll see you guys later.